Hey everyone, my name is Rooster, and today I'm also dressed up as one. This is all part of my subathon, which will currently be ongoing up until Wednesday on Twitch, so please do check it out if you're interested. My community smashed the goal required for this outfit, and so, well, I had to deliver. In all seriousness though, this will be a banger of a game up against one of 401's longest standing and strongest players, Play Archer. And yeah, I've been struggling recently, if I'm being completely honest, on the new patch. I always try to kind of find new comps or kind of forgotten comps that seem to work on the new meta, but it hasn't been working out for me, and I've just been losing an awful lot. So yeah, there are some things that seem to still work, which were good in the previous patch, like Void Eyes and Spiders, I think are still very strong. But yeah, all the other things I've tried, not that successful. Sledgehammers I still think are quite good, but yeah, other things just not really managing to make it work. On this game, I decided to go for a Rhino Specialist, which is very strong, and I start with Arclights and Sabers. I'm happy with the Arclights, not so happy with the Sabers, considering my opponent is a Firebatter Specialist, starting with Hounds and Steel Balls. Not a good matchup at all, so I'd likely have to sell those moving forward. Double Crawler pickup on round 1 for the both of us. He stacks his left side even heavier than I do. And yeah, right side, I do have my Saber lock onto the Steel Balls, but I didn't put any chaff back there because I didn't want it to run into the chaff deer turret, but I guess it would have helped out. Probably save my Saber. As for the round outcome though, I don't think it would have made a difference. And yeah, it's kind of as expected here. Just a really rough pack of units to play into with Sabers, so I will likely have to somehow pivot and stabilize using some different units. And well, round number 2 does bring the unit reinforcements, which can help with that. Honestly, all of them here are justifiable. Wasp is great, but then again, Mustang counters it, which is what Play Archer goes for, also gives him some upshoot. And then we have Void Eyes and Sledgehammers. Void Eyes great against both Hound and Steel Ball, so I really do like that. Double deployment as well, which is definitely worth considering. I guess Sledgehammer would have been fine as well as a general just stalling unit against both Hound and Steel Ball. I end up going for the Void Eyes. I sell out of one of my Sabers, and, well, it gets replaced, right, by the double Void Eye. And I need to at least respect the potential of a Wasp, so I go for triple Fang to kind of help out with that. It also means I build my chaff, which is a good thing to do early on, because it will always come in handy, right? 2 late Fangs, 1 up front. This will also help funnel all of these units, right? All of them want to go towards this 1 Fang, instead of fanning out and being harder to deal with. Right side, it does have a Mustang added, which means I will likely lose even harder on that side of the board, but it's to be expected here that I don't immediately stabilize. Now though, with my opponents having both Steel Balls, Hounds, and Mustang, and me noticing that he does not run armor on his Steel Balls or on his Hounds, I felt like going for Vulcan here would solve all of my problems at once. Scorch Vulcan should be able to kill all of those units without a problem. And well, if I can solve, you know, the issues I have by just building a single unit, that sounds like a great way to stabilize quickly. And look at this. Round number 3, Extended Range Vulcan shows up. There's also a Heavy Armor, which is a bit sad I have to skip. My opponent does go for it, but hey, Extended Range Vulcan here seems like a great thing to pivot into. It does mean that I will also have to sell my Arclights moving forward, so deployment-wise, I guess we are a bit behind, but I like the Vulcan line here. I go for Oil on the left, Vulcan on the right. This way, my opponent will get slowed this turn. Next turn, ideally, I will go symmetrical and add a Vulcan here as well, which should light that on fire. Opponent goes for a Fire Badger flank in the bottom left, as he does get access to that from his Specialist. And I mean, we'll have to see how this goes. Double Stormcaller pickup. Steel Ball gets sold, I guess, to just be able to afford that. Not a bad move, though. Going Stormcallers when I go for Vulcan on the same turn, very, very powerful. Stormcallers kind of one of the main ways to deal with these type of giant heavy standard boards. They're very good into Melters, into Vulcans, especially when the Vulcan is a lot squishier right? Minus 35% hit points because of that extended range card. And yeah, look at that. Vulcan does manage to kill the level 1 steel balls, but it goes down to the Stormcallers. And looks like we will end up losing this round yet again, which will probably send me down to, I mean, about 2.5k, which is really quite low considering it's only the end of round number 3. And, I mean, let's see what we can do here. Round number 4, additional deployment slot shows up. Vulcan's Descent, I guess, could have been a consideration as well, just to get a cheap kind of 1 round extra Vulcan. But I really wanted to get more deployments down, more chaff, make up for the 2 sabers that I sold. And yeah, let's look at this. I don't even make use of it this round, which I guess is not ideal. I just go for 1 Vulcan, 1 Crawler, the Rhino to face the Badgers, but they get sold. And I go for Scorch on the Vulcans. Don't need to go range here, as I do have that bonus 20 range from the extended range card. But here, yeah, opponent level 2 steel balls now and repurposes that heavy armor onto them, which means even with Scorch, takes a while to get through those. Left side doing well though. That fire doing a great job. The Rhino also managing to get through. Opponent added a steel ball back after selling it the round prior, but it's not good enough to take down my Rhino. And I think here, finally, we might be able to take a win. Let's see. Vulcan chewing through the remainder of his units. I will lose my tower. Anti-armor cannon at least took out the remainder of the steel balls, but Mustang's even able to take down my giant there. So it's just going to come down to my Rhino and 1 arc light, but hey, that is better than taking damage, and I feel like at least I'm starting to turn a page. Round number 5, and Portable Shield shows up, which is a great item for giants as well. Again, that Vulcan's Descent, though, is kind of tempting, as it gives me a cheap Vulcan, right? 250 for a 1-round Vulcan. And there's an Orbital as well. Orbital wouldn't have been a bad pickup either, but I thought we wouldn't see it again, because it would only show back up, I believe, on round 10. So that's why I decided to skip. Seems like my opponent also wants the value of the item. Picks up a Melter, and that's where the Portable Shield will go. I decide to go for range on my Vulcans, and I just buy a whole bunch of chaff here, I imagine. I'm okay with not building another Vulcan. I just want to try and get these double techs, so we have the Vulcans able to do almost everything. You might struggle though into that Melter. It is very tanky, right? About 70,000 hit points. And okay, looks like I will pick up at least 1 more Void Eye to help out with some DPS against those steel balls. And just more chaff at this point. Vulcan on the left. Let's see what we can do. Quad Stormcaller already, which is a bit scary. If I manage to make it to the late game, I will be able to go for something like some missile interceptors. But for now, can be very tricky. If you go for missile interceptors and you lose the round and lose all of them, you'll be behind so much resources that it tends to just be GG. So that's why I'm not going for it immediately and just kind of trying to distract them with a whole bunch of chaff, which for now seems to be doing kind of alright. Right side did end up losing, sadly, but left side is winning. I still have got that Vulcan kind of trudging forward. Right side, that one pesky steel ball keeps surviving. This time around, my anti-armor cannon unable to deal with it. But I still have a full health Vulcan, I believe. So maybe we can do something over there. We'll have to see. Mustangs will die. Oh, but that's a lot of damage from those Stormcallers. And looks like I will end up taking even more damage. Now going down to 2k hit points. Round number 6. Some really good cards overall. 2 great items. Shield airdrop, always worth it if you're not going to go for anything else. And I decide to go for the improved firepower here to boost that damage even more on my level 2 Vulcan. And now we finally have the money to go for more Vulcans and pick up 2 more of them. Now, I am a little bit afraid here of my anti-air situation. It's not great. In fact, it's really bad. I only have basically 2 fangs because this one almost instantly dies. And yeah, ideally I would get into marksman at some point here with that best partner tech. But I would need to have, you know, at least maybe 1 marksman on the board. Just in case my opponent tries to go for a cheeky overlord or a phoenix or whatever it may be. More crawlers picked up as well alongside the Vulcans. And I should pick up 1 marksman. Yep, there we go. It's a bit risky, but I feel like you have to take risks every now and then, especially when you're on the back foot. I still have 4k hit points to get through from my opponent, and I can't deal with everything. So we're hedging, you know, by just putting down the 1 marksman just in case. But we're mostly focusing on getting the Vulcans down, and then eventually we should be able to get the marksman from that 3rd tech. Opponent goes for AP on the Stormcallers. No range as of yet on the melting point. Good missile here to slow down those steel balls. They're now level 3 with that heavy armor. But the high level also means my Vulcans will get a lot of experience from killing them. So, as you can see, slowly moving towards higher level Vulcans across the board. And this time around, right side doing a lot better. We even managed to take down that melter on the right. The one on the left also going down to my level 2 Vulcan. And this is looking quite promising. The AP Storm's not really doing too much. And we do manage to secure yet another round. Let's speed things up here because just have to chase down these Stormcallers on the right. But we should be able to do so. And there we go. A nice round win. 2 Vulcans still alive, so we start chipping away at the opponent. Round number 7. And we do get some unit reinforcements. Nothing here looked great to me. I guess I could have picked the Typhoon or the Wraith if I wanted to sell, which would have been a fine option. But I wanted to get a little bit more anti-air on the board, and I felt like maybe these Phantom Rays could overwhelm one side and help out with a DPS against these steel balls, because we were killing most things quite efficiently, but the steel balls still took a decent amount of time. So that's why I went for the Phantom Ray. Opponent goes for some Badgers, finally, and gives them range. A little bit unusual to see, because it wasn't a long-range unit. It still isn't, but it might do enough alongside his Mustangs and Stormcallers to be able to clear my chaff and allow those melters to lock on. I finally also have enough money to go for best partner, so we will now spawn 4 extra marksmen. I don't have the money yet for range, so that is a little bit tricky, right? My marksmen have 140 range, but my Vulcans have 170. So right now they do get in front of the Vulcans, and if they end up dying, you know, we might still have the exact same issue as before. I was also a little bit afraid here of my opponent going for Wasps, but I guess he didn't do so because of, I guess, the Typhoon and the Wraith drop. Both of them could have been picked by me just to kind of preempt those Wasps. Again, I am taking risks here, but I felt like I could afford to. I kind of had to make my board stronger, and then next round, ideally, I do grab some Wasps. Not some Wasps, some Mustangs. Apologies. Looks like we're still doing alright, although this time around, the Melter definitely a lot harder to get through, it seems. We'll even manage to take out both my Vulcans without going down, so that means left side will likely lose at least 1 missile interceptor, perhaps 2. Luckily, my Vulcan goes down, so we keep 2 of the missile interceptors. But I do go down to 684 hit points. Round number 8. I decide to skip here. Photon coating picked up for Play Archer. And what do we want to do? Range on the marksman has been picked up, and I go for more missile interceptors. Looks like I might also forget to go for Mustangs here. I mean, I felt like I needed more damage, so I will just go for more Vulcans, because those will also spawn more marksmen. But it kind of opens up this window for the opponent to go for Wasps, and me, you know, to be unable to deal with it. So, little bit scary, for sure. But I do manage to pick up 3 more Vulcans by selling one of my Phantoms, which is a very, very powerful round. Looks like opponent doesn't want to go for Wasps just yet, as he had techs to pick up himself. 2 more Melters, and Electromagnetic Barrage has been picked up. Let's see how this will go. Very happy, though, that there are no Wasps, because that may have been a big problem if they showed up. But man, look at the amount of Vulcans on the board. We already have 7. 3 of them are level 2. Every single one spawns a marksman. And now that I see EMP, I kind of would like to go EMP myself on my marksman. I have been going back to this tech bar with EMP, double shot, and AA. And I think EMP is probably one of the best techs that you can have against specifically Melter matchups like this. Just turning off that range, turning off the EMP tends to make a big difference. And look at this left side. Vulcans, all 4 locked onto that Melter. Right side, I do lose all of them, but I still have some marksmen left. And I think we should be able to clean up. And so, at 684, we are still fighting back. Round number 9. Here come the unit reinforcements, and there are the Wasps that I was kind of expecting and, you know, greedily not playing around, but now I will have to, as it is offered. So, nothing in here really for me. I guess I could go for Wasps myself. My opponent does have Mustang already. So I just decide to go for the cell. I pick up the... I don't even think it shows here. Was it the steel balls? I think it hasn't shown up for some reason, what I picked up. But I definitely sold, I think, the Sabertooth. And then... oh, I guess it probably is just unlocked over here. Yeah, there it is. Apologies there. But yeah, I picked up the Saber, I believe, and sold it. That gave me enough money to go for 4 blue Mustangs with range all the way up against that backboard. We also have our Vulcan's Descent available again, so we'll have 8 Vulcans spawning 8 marksmen this turn, and we have enough money to go for electromagnetic shots as well. Very good round. As we can see, opponent has gone for the Wasps with shield, so I'm very happy that I picked up Mustang. Now, the one thing I was a bit scared of is the shield. Not the shield, the mobile beacon, because you could have mobile beaconed the Wasps back and forth, which is a pretty common thing to do in these very long-range, long-winded games. And, you know, my Mustangs don't have the biggest of range, so they might just end up dying because of that. Opponent also goes for Incendiary Bomb now on his Stormcallers. And so my missile interceptors will be quite busy. Vulcan in the back, I'm not sure if that was worth it. Perhaps I should have put it on my main board, because it does mean that both the Vulcan and the marksman that it spawns die for, you know, almost nothing. We do distract the Stormcallers a bit, but that's about it. Marksman with EMP there. Does manage to lock on to that Melter. Shut off its techs. And look at the amount of Vulcans that are still alive here. Every single one of them still fighting back. Maybe one of them will end up perishing, but that is about as good of a round as you could ask for. And I wonder, is this lethal? It's not quite. Probably should have put that other Vulcan, the drop, on my main board. If it survived, would have been able to deal that extra 100 damage. Round number 10. Quick skip there from Play Archer. There is something to be said perhaps for advanced defensive tactics, as It's a really valuable card late game. Just having those extra stats tends to pay off because of just how many units benefit from them. Ooh, and round number 10, a mountain has been picked up for Play Archer. Trying to perhaps go for a gut shot there. I do have EMP, which means that something like mountain plating shouldn't work, but I don't have Ignite currently. Oh, and he thinks twice about it and doesn't want to go for it. I actually think that was pretty scary, but maybe the EMP scared him off. Looks like it's just going to end up being more Stormcallers, I believe, with the range tech now as well. Does go for a mobile beacon, and here it is. The back and forth Wasp play. I decide to level up every single one of my Vulcans, which I think costs me about 1,400 resources there. Keep in mind that the marksman that you spawn also benefits from this, because you spawn it at the same level as the Vulcan. But yeah, very, very expensive turn. I pick up more missile interceptors. I go for some chaff on the flanks to distract the initial EMP barrage, and also those first Stormcaller salvos. Some fire still lands, sadly. And here I'm thinking, should I just go for more Mustangs if this goes another round? And pick up that missile intercept. But let's see, do we have any Mustangs left? It seems like most of them are currently dying in the fire, frontlining, as expected, because of their low range. And that means I don't really have anything left to deal with the pack of wasps that arrives very, very late. No double shots on the marksman either at this moment, so taking care of those shielded wasps takes an awful long time. Left side, luckily, doesn't have the same wasps, so I am able to punch through on that side and get a debuff. And it's kind of going to be up to my Vulcans, I feel, to kill the Melters. I have 684 hit points left. I lose 2 missile interceptors. Might lose another one there. I did manage at least to take down one more Melter. It's gonna be about 350. I think this is a full Wasp pack, so we're looking at 500, 700 from the Stormcaller pack. So I likely have to take out a couple more Storms. We'll at least take out 2. But now the Vulcans are just kind of stuck, pushing each other, trying to fight back against that Melter. Can we kill it? EMP lands, which means that we won't be turning. And it's gonna be about... yeah, that Wasp pack and the Melter is still surviving. These Wasps, they are taking down Interceptor after Interceptor. As I think I lose about 5 or 6 there. 600 resources lost. But I do survive. And of course, round 11, you have to have a big red spell to finish things off. 98 hit points on my side. 83 hit points on Play Archer's side. I mean, let's just see what happens. I decided to line this up with the Stormcallers. I could have maybe tried to predict where the Wasps would go and just tried to hit those, but I wanted to get rid of those Stormcallers because they have been quite pesky. And it's an easier target to hit than trying to guess where the Wasps will be. I, of course, bubble up. And here I think, well, I may just have to try and gamble on a similar type of back and forth mobile beacon play as my opponent has been doing. Picking up more Mustangs and just beacon them back and forth. I did kind of expect him to send them to the left side, because that way you kind of avoid, right, the ion beam that might show up on the right, and might also be able to avoid a potential response on the right side. If I try to beacon back and forth over here, I will still end up missing those wasps because they'll be on the left side of the board. And so yeah, bit of a gamble here from the both of us. Quad Mustang picked up. I do go for the missile interceptor, as I lost a lot of my interceptor turrets. Pick up 2 more, but we only have a total of 5, whereas before I think we had 8 or even more. And yeah, let's see. Back and forth beacon there. at the very final moments before the battle begins, and I mean, hands off the wheel. Let's just see who wins here. Two classic comps, Vulcan Marksman up against Stormcaller Mustang Melter. Yeah, absolute classic. Brings me back to 2023 for sure. Can we get out ahead? Looks like my Ion Beam was much better for me than it was for him. My Vulcans managed to survive the blast, and that means that they're firing in full force. All of the marksmen right behind. My Mustangs still alive to be able to receive those wasps as they finish their beacon. And with that, we are able, thankfully, to grab a win here, which has been a tall task, I have to say, on the current patch for me. I've been losing an awful lot, but somehow it seems I have been doing fine against some of the OGs when playing, you know, more old school comps. So maybe that's the takeaway for me there. But yeah, super close game there. I think PlayArcher probably could have won an earlier turn here. All right, let's pick up on round 9 with the Wasp drop. I tried round 8, but it actually doesn't work. So let's try this out instead. We do get those double deployments. Maybe we can even make it 4. Grab that shield, go for the mobile beacon, which I think he didn't go for. So that would be a big difference maker. I believe he went for fire as well. We should sell that Typhoon in my opinion. And then we probably just pick up a couple more Stormcallers here. Maybe another Melter wouldn't be a bad thing either though. But I think trying to just overwhelm the opponent should be better. And let's see. Of course we have that Vulcan drop in the back. But this time around, the Wasps won't go suiciding into the Mustangs I had. And, you know, if it goes anything like the round after, where he did do this, might end up dying because of it. Let's see. Fire, some of it does land, which means that the chaff clear is a lot better now. And this is where those late Wasps should arrive. The thing is the Melter going to be able to survive? Maybe it gets locked on too quickly and is unable to deal with anything. Looks like it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Late Wasps trying to get in, but just doesn't seem to matter whatsoever. The right side is crushing. I still have some Mustangs left alive. And yeah, never mind. I thought that maybe this would have helped, but it clearly wouldn't have. And yeah, he would have taken just as much damage regardless of the beacon or not. So yeah, interesting. The round after, he did manage to catch me and deal, you know, just shy of having enough damage to kill me. But yeah, it doesn't seem like this beacon would have done it. Anyway, if you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below the comments what you thought of the cosplay and this game as well. How have you been faring in the new season? Let me know. If you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live and check me out during the subathon, go check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.